85 years ago, God in his infinite wisdom gave to the world a truly remarkable and yet humble man, an advocate of all that is positive and good, Slovenian by blood and Australian by choice. As the saying goes, you can take the man out of Slovenia, but you can't take the Slovenia out of the man. By faith, he is a Catholic Franciscan brother dedicated to God. As to his calling, he has dedicated his heart and soul to the Slovenian communities in New South Wales and the rest of Australia. With his charismatic smile and diplomatic words, who can resist his gentle but deliberate requests? The story of this remarkable man begins on the 6th of January 1926 in Ljubljana, Šiška. Christened Jozef, he was the third child born of 7 to Jurnej, Jenko and Katarina near Narobe. As a young boy, he served as an altar boy at masses in Šiška, and it was at this time he felt his calling for a pastoral life of a priest. Naturally, he met some resistance from the family because they considered him too young for such a major decision. However, his determination could not be wavered, and he took his initial vows on the 29th of November 1949. By December of 1949, he was in Lamont, USA, where he would finalize his studies among American Franciscan friars. He was ordained as a priest on the 25th of May 1952. In 1961, he made his first visit back to his homeland Slovenia. It was at this time that a call came from Australia to assist Pater Ambrožič, Pater Heinšek and Dr. Ivan Mikula. Although a letter requesting Father Valerijan's presence in Australia was received in March 1963, it was not until the 23rd of October that same year that he actually arrived. There was a certain reluctance to move again after many years away from his homeland. So, rather than taking the quickest route to Australia by plane, he chose to delay the arrival by sailing to Australia instead. His first Mass for Sydney Slovenians took place on the 27th of October at St. Bridget's in Marrickville, and he hasn't looked back since. His initial residence was with the Australian Franciscan Friars in Paddington, where he lived for the first 7 years of his new life in Australia. The Paddington parish of St. Francis of Assisi became a centre for all Slovenian activities: marriages, baptisms, drama groups, choirs, social dances, and many other activities that kept the community together. He breathed new life into the dreams and aspirations of a young Slovenian community. With so much happening that was unique to Sydney and the Australia-wide newsletter Misli having been moved to Melbourne, Father Valerijan saw an urgent need to create and publish a Sydney newsletter, originally considered a waste of time by Father Ambrožič. In fact, Father Ambrožič threw the first edition of the newsletter out of the car window. Nonetheless, naming the newsletter Saint Raphael after the patron saint of travellers, he became the journalist, editor, designer and printer of the newsletter, and it remained strong right up until this very day. This newsletter is the longest-running local community-based publication, along with the Australia-wide newsletter Misli, in the Slovenian community. As the community grew in numbers and confidence, it became clear that the Slovenian population was moving to the western suburbs where new housing was flourishing. Paddington was no longer a suitable central location for his work. At this time, Father Valerijan demonstrated yet again his commitment to the needs of his parishioners and demonstrated his initiative, courage, intellect and skills of negotiation and organisation. Father Valerijan understood well that building a Slovenian church and mission centre was of the highest priority if the spiritual needs of the community were to be met. This objective was met in 1969 when Father Valerijan negotiated the purchase of an existing church, St. Stephen's in Marylands. The purchase price was $20,000 when the average wage was about $9,500 per year per family. But due to the generosity of donation and commitment of the community at the time, only half that amount had to be borrowed. The first Mass was celebrated in the newly purchased church before transformation on New Year's Day 1970, a symbolic new beginning of the future to come. The plans were already being prepared for a new church to be named St. Raphael's. The first service in the new church without a roof was Christmas Day 1972, and the completed church with a roof was blessed just 2 weeks later by Auxiliary Bishop from Ljubljana, Dr. Stanislav Linic, on the 14th of January 1973. In the decade that followed, 2 adjoining properties were purchased, facilitating the building of a church hall and the living quarters of the Sisters of the Franciscan Friars. The buildings were officially blessed by Archbishop Dr. Schuster in January 1983. The leading light for these achievements was, of course, Father Valerijan. He demonstrated extraordinary negotiation and organisational skills that achieved exceptional results through goodwill, cooperation and a united effort towards a common goal. The one vision he held close to his heart for Marylands, but was never to see the light of day, was the establishment of an aged care facility. The young community at the time didn't understand the need for aged care, for many a missed opportunity. As the Marylands mission grew stronger as a centre for Slovenians, so too did the team growing around Father Valerijan. Slovenian Franciscan hierarchy sent young and sometimes not so young friars and sisters to be nurtured and mentored by Father Valerijan. Slovenian Franciscan sisters made the centre in Marylands a home sweet home, everything working like clockwork. Only to have the sisters called back to Slovenia 30 years later, never to be replaced. This left a huge support and organisational black hole in Slovenian community and church life. The Maryland Slovenian Mission Centre, which also includes St. Raphael's Church, became and still remains the heart of the Slovenian community in New South Wales. Over the years, Father Valerijan has had an active hand in helping the Slovenian community establish a prayer group, a parish council, several dedicated choirs that perform at any possible opportunity, and an active drama group. He also supported and encouraged the Historical Archive Centre for Slovenians in New South Wales, HASA, and the Slovenian Language School. We believe Father Valerijan's parish was the biggest in the world, stretching from one side of Australia to the other. You might be surprised to hear that we estimate that Father Valerijan has travelled close to 2 million kilometres since arriving in Sydney in 1963, travelling 4,000 kilometres to Perth, 1,100 kilometres to Brisbane and Gold Coast, and 300 kilometres to Canberra. And close to home, Newcastle 180 kilometres, Wollongong 80 kilometres, and Penrose Park near Berrima 150 kilometres. You might also be surprised to hear that Father Valerijan has conducted around 20,000 masses, 650 marriages, 1,500 baptisms and 500 funerals, which unfortunately are becoming more frequent these days. But it doesn't stop there. In the beginning, he travelled to people's homes to help them settle into a new way of life and provide an instant family for homesick migrants. And over the years, he continues to visit hundreds of sick and elderly people at home and in hospitals, where he provides invaluable personal support in confidence. Father's charisma and blessing warmed their hearts and souls. It's not only the Slovenian community who appreciates his significant contribution to humanity and community spirit. Father Valerijan Jenko has been awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in 2000 for his valuable contribution to Australian multiculturalism, the Slovenian Honorary Symbol of Freedom in 2001, and a blessing from Pope Paul II to acknowledge his Golden Mass with a presentation by Father Cyril Bojic in 2002. In 2001, at the age of 75, Father Valerijan had the chance to retire comfortably after a life of relentless dedication to the Church and to the community. Fortunately, the community was able to persuade him to keep his hand in the day-to-day activities, which he continues to do to this day. How can we repay him, we ask?
Kako naj mi poplača skupnost za moje delo? Pravzaprav pričakujem samo plačilo od Boga. In to je glavni namen, da pomagam skupnosti in izvršujem svoj poklic, ki je frančiškanski poklic, da prinašam evangelij našim rojakom, predvsem v prvi vrsti tukaj v Valerijancu. Poplače je pa lahko najboljše s tem, da bojo nadaljevali, da bo ekipa, ki mi sedaj pomaga, ostala zvesta, ne samo to, ampak da se bojo tudi drugi mladi pridružili in da bojo vedno pri roki, kad je nekaj pomagati. Zdaj moramo gledati na to, da bomo ohranili naš jezik in sveto vero. Slomšek je zapisal, sveta vera bodi nam ključ, naša beseda, pa tisto, kar nas povezuje. Vera pa je luč, ki vse to osvetljuje in nas vodi, da ne omagamo. Na steni imamo tukaj v cerkvi mozaik blaženega Antona Martina, ki je bil velik Slovenec, ki je živel za svoj narod in je vedel, da če bo narod zvest svoji besedi, potem bo zvest tudi Bogu. Taka vera in narodnost sta skupaj roka ob roki.